joining us right now, if I can get it, joining us right now from somewhere around the world. It's Mike from around the world. Mike, how you doing tonight?
God bless you, Pastor Paul. Doing well.
Okay, I know it's got to be kind of busy for you.
As always.
I always think about you a lot, Mike. I pray for you all the time because I wonder, how does he sleep at night with all of the things he knows and all of the issues going on? He must have Jesus in his heart. Is that what's going on with you?
Amen to that. That's right.
Well, Mike, where do you want to start tonight? I mean, I don't think this thing's over in Iran. I mean,
Oh, no.
And can I ask you, can you say anything about this high-power microwavable weapon that may have been used over that prison in Iran, or is there any information you can share with us on this?
High-powered microwave. HBMs?
Yeah, HBM. Bloom. HBM Bloom. Can you tell us about those?
Oh, you know about that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's actually a set of armaments that are highly effective, very effective. Essentially, they can eliminate gadgets, anything electronic, actually. Anything with electronics in it. It can cause it to be inert momentarily, yeah. And that boom part is actually the radius of effectiveness. They can actually tune the effectiveness of that device. So that's in the mission versatility section of weaponry.
Now, is that similar to what they might have used in Venezuela, or did it do something different? It got something new toy there.
Well, they have a lot of new toys. HPMs are in the. That's in the. I guess you could throw that in the laser field, because it's all in one big thing there. That's part of disabling the ISR intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance of another nation's efforts. So it's a disruptor. It's very effective disruptor.
Okay, so the information I got was, and I was just talking to Agent X about it, is that over the prison where they were going to do the executions and the hangings, that the information I got was that an HPM Bloom was used to fry all the components in the prison and the surrounding area around it, just to send a message: you don't want to do this.
Smart move.
Yeah. Is that Trump saying it was? And the question is, some people think that President Trump's backing off now and he's gonna let this thing die down. Can you help me understand what's going on here?
No. Well, first of all, if you use a HPM, you're not going to use an HPM and just leave it there. Then that's preparation for other things.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll often be surrounded by accompanied activity globally somewhere. But no, he's not done with this. And that wouldn't be the end of it.
I'm okay, because that does confirm. I mean, the United States is sending military assets to the Middle East. I understand the USS Abraham Lincoln, maybe a couple other big carrier groups coming out of San Diego, maybe out of Norfolk. This thing is not nearly over, is what you're saying.
No, it isn't, because the Middle East is the Iranian machine is that's a very. They're going to have to, that'll have to be somewhat of a priority, because you're not just dealing with Iran. Right? Remember I said when you deal with Iran, you're dealing with Russia and some other allies, right? So you're not just dealing with Iran. So that means Israel has to get prepared too. Yeah, and the USA must be prepared, which is the part I often look into. But
well, you bring up Israel for a moment. Can I just throw this out there? Because today at 9 a.m. local time there in Israel, there was an earthquake, a 4.3 earthquake. It happened to be the exact same time that the nation of Israel, all the schools were doing a emergency drill for the kids. and it was right underneath the Dimona nuclear facility in the Negev Desert. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good coincidence. Pretty good one. But I tell you what. Before, because you brought up HPMs,
Yeah.
that's going to be a precursor to while other preparations are made before main assets hit the ground, right? Because they don't want, nobody wants, the USA does not want losses and too big of a commotion. But we're dealing with a pretty widespread monster, essentially. That's very evil, dark regime over there. It really is. And so
Yeah.
many things will be brought to bear at the disposal for strategic purposes to go ahead and install some things. While that's going on, there's also some people being set up to install in Iran. So you can put all that together.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
there's some work going on, preparation for a new government.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Is the Shah? Do you think the Shah, this the Shah of Iran's son, could he be brought back, or is there somebody else they're thinking?
Well, he very well could be in some capacity, not the
Okay.
capacity, but you better believe they have candidates for direct insertion. Otherwise, that place would, is likely
Yeah.
to have repeated turmoils.
Would the
But
United
again, they have to prepare everybody. Israel really has to be prepared. Um,
Mhm.
we're still dealing with Russia and Russian assets,
Mm.
right? They know they're in that province, and so we have to be very surgical in what's about to
Now
happen.
you're talking now. When you start, that's the second time you brought up Russia connected here in this. So let's go there for a minute, because in the Bible, as you know, in Ezekiel 38 and 39, it definitely talks about a battle called Gog and Magog. It talks about Russia and Turkey even, and some other nations, Ethiopia, Libya, some others, jumping in
Yeah.
and being a part of this with Iran against Israel. So are you concerned? Obviously, you're concerned that Russia are they in position to jump in quickly to help Iran if they need to?
They're already there.
Oh, well,
They already have assets over there.
okay.
Russia has permanent assets over there. I mean, well, we have eyes over there too, but they have permanent assets over there. So they're really locked in together. Now, should that begin to show, well, then everybody will begin to notice a high stakes game there. So we have to be prepared for that.
Is there any connection to that in Minneapolis? I mean, $9 billion gets you $9 billion of fraud money in Minneapolis. I think that would fund some sleeper cells. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, let me bring something to light too.
Okay.
Here's what's slowly happening. The world right now it seems it's all, technical borders and politics, right?
Yeah.
What we have happening is a separation of faiths, is what we have. And ultimately, we're about to see an Islamic uprising, right? As what you're starting to see. Why would I say that? It's because Trump's the only one that carries the banner of Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Out loud.
Yeah.
He carries that out loud.
Out loud.
And as we continue to subdue some of these archaic leaders around the world, who are, by the way, steeped in Islamic traditions or favorable to Islam, it will turn in the minds of those who are watching this. It's going to turn into a Christian Islamic conflict. Now, when that happens, and it's already beginning to happen in the USA, in Minneapolis, not only there, but other places too. You have a lot of these Islamic loyalists and radical Islamist people rising up. And because of their faith, they don't see it being a problem to give their lives for some disruption in the great Satan, which they call the USA as a great Satan to them. They don't see any problem in destroying it from the inside out. That brings up the issue of not just sleeper cells, right? Not just them, but you're looking at an uncountable number of potential people who could really turn on citizens in this nation. Let me give you an example. The IRGC, they had mobilized 200,000 armed youth in less than 18 hours. Now, I can't give the dates or times of that, but it was very recent, right? To have that type of network to mobilize that many people, right? Young people
is that in their
ready
own
to die.
Is that in their own country,
No,
Iran?
nope,
No?
nope. That did not happen in Iran. And
Okay.
that's the problem. They mobilized them, confirmed that they were ready to go, and just they settled down, I guess. I'll just put it that way. But my point is, within a very short time span, they mobilized 200,000 armed youth. That's not good, right?
No.
Which means you have a lot of young people who are on social media who talk in various amounts of codes. That's why it's so difficult to pinpoint all these. You can get some of the known sleeper cells, but if you start running the numbers, you're looking at a percentage of our population being counted upon that number of sleeper cells, which means they are everywhere. And that's part of what I have to do. The analysis that I'm looking at right now is some of the threats that we face from those numbers inside this nation, inside Europe, inside the UK, and other allied nations.
So do you? Obviously, you do a lot of things, but so you're analyzing the potential sleeper cell capability and mobilization of radicalized youth in America. I mean, is it growing? Is it still growing?
Yes, it is. It's growing by leaps and bounds. Unfortunately, morality has a lot to do with this, and all components are playing their part. But you have a lot of youth who are highly, they're just against what they're seeing, right? That number's growing every day. And as a potential of those youth that are in a specific category, they could easily be turned, right? Easily be turned. So that's what we're looking at. There's so many threats facing this world that President Trump has to be precise in both defense of the USA and offensive tactics. They have to be employed very surgically, like Venezuela and other places that are on the list.
Is it because, okay, so you have the radical Islamic groups, but then you have the drug lord, drug cartel, gang activity, which is not as much ideology, is it? I mean, it's more.
Not yet. It wasn't, but somehow Passpal's changing.
Really?
That's the problem. The whole thing is changing. It used to be money, right? It used to be about money and territory.
Yeah.
And but now everything is changing. Why? Because it's known that America's a Christian nation again, right? And so that's being brought up more and more. Now, when the language changes, communications change between people, and they'll start mentioning, that Christian word over and over again. Before you know it, they have adopted that subconsciously in their minds, and it will pop out as, it'll be a hatred against the Christian nations. And so Islam is naturally going to come into the picture in their minds. So it will turn into a faith war is the problem. That's the one thing everybody attempts to avoid is a faith war. You cannot find a faith war.
Want that.
You can't do that.
No.
But it's slowly but surely turning into a faith war.
Wow. Mike, we just had a 6.0 earthquake just hit very shallow off the coast of Oregon. It was only 7.1 kilometers deep, and I'm looking at it right now.
Ooh, that's the area I told people they better wake up to that area. There are problems out there. I said that yesterday, actually.
Did you? Is that the Seamont? Is that the Seamont underwater volcano?
Yeah, there's lots of activity down there. The ground is actually beginning to shift, and there are new detections out there. So it's doing its thing.
This just happened, folks. It just hit. Matter of fact, right after it hit, there was a 3.4. It hit Morongo Valley, California, which is just below there, probably, I don't know, a couple 100 miles, or maybe a little further, but not a whole lot further, 200-300 miles, but right on the same fault line. But the Cascadia subduction zone, this thing hit right in the Cascadia subduction zone, but it's right. Looks like it's right on that volcano. 6.0.
Yeah. That entire area. We're going to continue to have these continental shifts, pressure on just about all the fault lines as we continue to go through this. So no one should forget we're in a very volatile cycle. It's going to get a lot worse. Everybody should prepare for flooding and fire. They really should prepare for flooding and fire.
I mean, isn't that kind of crazy? Flooding and fire. I mean, but they go to hand in hand in this magma rising, this volcanism world we're in, right?
Yeah, and then you add to that pop shots with a new war. Well, we've got it. I know that. Here's what keeps me up at night, Passballs. You have America as a big military machine, right?
Yep.
And other nations, they have their thing too. Maybe not as advanced, but biblically, by the word of God, we know exactly what takes place. And we know that somehow, some way, it's going to end up just like the Bible says, right? What keeps me up is what happened that, number one, Israel had no one to protect it, right? We are the ones who protect Israel.
Yes, that's right.
What happens that in prophecy, we did not protect Israel for 3.5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it says that the Gentiles.
That keeps me up at night.
Yeah, 3.5 years that the Gentiles, Jerusalem is trampled underfoot by the Gentiles. 3.5 years. I mean, it's
42 months.
42 months.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the book of Daniel, I mean, you see all those who have indignation against the Holy Covenant go in and set up the abomination of desolation. So no one protects her during that time.
That's right.
And if the USA was in the shape it's in right now, nobody would go into Israel and succeed.
No,
so what happens?
What
happens between now and that time?
Well, then
right?
some kind of corrupt leadership takes over our government, or our government folds into a new world order. It's.
Well, I tell you what. I've said this a long time ago. I'm going to stay with this thought, but something tied America's hands, and what do we see happening right now?
Oh,
the beginnings of what looks like this internal strife. These protesters,
yep,
military presence in many different states.
Yep.
What does that look like to you? That looks like the beginnings of a civil war, but unlike any other time, this is clearly Democrats.
It's 100% Democrats against Republicans.
Right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So we've not had this before, not like this, not for a long time. And now we have a set of new policies that will come out and executive orders dealing with the military on American soil, right?
Yeah.
So here we go.
Well,
that's
the president.
That's not going to stop rolling.
That's right. The president said today, the Insurrection Act. He's thinking about using it. It hasn't been used since. I mean, well, it was used back not long ago. I guess Eisenhower did it, and I think even George H.W. Bush did it. But back, the Supreme Court ruled that the president has that power in 1827. The thing is, you don't ever want to use it. I mean, never, unless you absolutely have to. The fact that he's talking about using it, the fact that this mayor in Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, I mean, this guy is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm sorry, he's just not. But he is.
There'd be more than that.
He's a problem, and Mike Waltz is, by his own admission, he's knucklehead. But by their policies, what they're doing, they're fanning the flames, Mike. They're fanning the flames.
And hear me on this. Hear me on this. no politician at that level is going to jump to the front without support from other
That's
governors.
right. Somebody's pushing. They're pushing them. They're all
You're
pushing.
not going to be right. You're not going to be just one governor who jumps out there with all those statements. No, you're speaking for many other governors, and so they foresee this, and it will begin to show its ugly head. And so I believe America's going to have her hands full. Right? Right now, look at what's happening. The realistic picture of what's happening. I know people like success stories. That's great. But look at what's happening. We are in the eyes, not in American eyes, not with the eye of necessity. But if we were foreigners, we would look at the USA and say, the USA is taking everything. That's what we would say. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how we're seeing. Now, you don't think that if we had some sort of distraction internally, that all these other nations wouldn't take advantage of us? And we have allies, right? We have allies that seem loyal right now. So let's face a truth. The only reason they're loyal is because you can't do anything.
That's exactly right. They're not really
Okay?
loyal. They're just, they
But
don't
that's
feel like
right.
they have a choice.
And when you're dealing with people like that, the moment they feel that somebody else is going to make a move, they will swap their support.
Yeah, they will.
And join in with those who come against us. Right?
Yep.
So this is what we're facing, and it's slowly forming.
Mm-hmm.
It is slowly forming. Yes, we have weaponry. Yes, we have we got the Helios, the Odin, HPMs, and Thor, and tactical high power, microwave, operational weapons of all types. But these things are going to be nothing in the face of a big portion of the global populace against the USA.
Well, they can plant sleeper cells in the country, but they can also put people in position in
That's already happened.
Yeah, high-tech level. I mean, where they can
That's already happened.
They can push the button, you know what I'm saying,
Pastor,
on us.
They have ongoing surveys right now.
Yeah.
Most of your gas stations, most of critical infrastructure, right, is owned and operated by foreigners.
Yeah, I know.
That hardly speak English.
I know.
So
That's
you
scary.
just think about that. Where people always look for the big things. Suppose they just shut down all the gas pumps.
We'd be in trouble. We'd be it'd be chaos. Chaos.
That's right. All these tiny convenience stores, and you would think, oh, that wouldn't do anything. Yes, it would. Oh, yes, it would.
Yeah,
That would stall us enough to get other things moving within us. So all these things have to be foreseen. Some simulation has to be run just in case they happen, and you have to see what the potential casualty count is, this, that, and the other. And this is every day. So we have these building threats, which is why President Trump wants the Golden Dome. He already said he wants this to be the golden era, right?
Right.
He will press for that. And the only way to get that done is to get rid of tyrants. You cannot have all these tyrants out there. And everything has to be surveilled. Unfortunately, that's the only way that's going to happen. Everything has to be surveilled. Everything has to be surveilled. And I guarantee in the next year, most people they won't really know they're doing it, but they'll get behind that idea. There's going to be a necessity where people will say, hey, first of all, we need something different than passwords for our computer. We need something that works better than biometrics.
Wow.
Because a cyber assault is coming.
Works better than biometrics. What could that be?
Your DNA.
Okay.
Biometrics that's external, right?
Okay.
That's external. Through the because of AI, there are different methods of identification. Let me give an example. Right now, a camera can see a woman walking and just see the top of her head and her hair swaying. Do you not know that woman can be identified by the way her hair swings at any given
What?
day?
Wait a minute. Whoa. By the way her hair sways?
That's right.
Not her walk, her gait, or my walk.
That's right. No, It used to be her walk. It used to be, right, the 3,000 points of the bone structure identification. No, AI is so good right now. It can extract. It can quantify just about anything, and that's part of the power of AI. To quantify means make anything mathematical, and it can extract, you know, that familiar, whatever they're familiar with, mathematically. It can extract that by running trillions of simulations per second to see who it is.
Don't let me lose track of this 6.0 earthquake at Oregon, folks, because I'm going to be asking Mike a question about it. But meanwhile, go back to this. So in other words, the swaying of your hair, the head as it moves, and it's so fine. You're saying that every fraction of an inch of movement is being calculated by this thing. It
can be captured, simulated. Probabilities, or there's going to have a numerical digit that will come out saying that, you know, the probability of this being that person. Run a simulation. It'll run every simulation, and by that's how it can come out with the exact identification.
Wow.
So that's happening right now. Right now, one of the major things, and as people are, you know, there's an active picture. But here's the worst part: your picture, my picture, anybody else's picture, can be assembled not from a camera, right, but from where you've been.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? You mean after I've been somewhere and left?
Your body,
my energy,
your body, your voice, right?
Yeah.
Your wherever you've been, whatever you touched, you're leaving fingerprints all around you.
Okay.
Right, that only you can leave. Do you not know that AI can assemble that information into an identity?
That's pretty remarkable. I mean, that's really remarkable, really.
I told you about the experiment that took place in 2024, right? The demonstration that took place in 2024.
I don't think so.
Okay, people were sitting out there. This guy was talking, and folks were in a different room from all the AI stuff. But they were making noises and, you know, responding and this and the other. Do you not know that, to make this short, that AI assembled a real-time video of exactly how everything looked by sound waves? I mean, that was a demonstration. So by small noises, small movements, right, all that, it emulated a real-time picture of that group inside the building. Right? Now, here's the worst part. They did not know this was going to happen. This was not part of the demonstration. It hacked all their cell phones. It utilized their cell phones' acoustic abilities, like speakers and microphones, to capture sound data. It took that sound data and created an image, right? It gathered temperatures and all the data points it could gather to come up with colors for their clothing, everything, how things rub, and it cross-checked everything. It did that perfectly. Now, we're talking about a video, right? A video of moving people. That was just astounding. But that was back at the beginning of 2024.
So how much farther have we advanced? Right.
That's right, because AI grows exponentially, right? It is hungry. It's hungry. That's why it takes these big facilities to get all that data, because AI will crunch all that data. Where your computer utilizes one little hard drive or a thumbnail or a memory stick, right? AI is using that entire facility and all the data points to come up with usable information. And it is very good at that. So AI has gone a lot further than what anybody could imagine, right? And there is a replica of this world, right? Earth 2.0 is active. It's already finished, and AI is trained. It grows up in this artificial intelligence world to learn about the real world, physics, and everything. Everything is emulated.
Unbelievable. Well, Mike, let's ask you this question as this is all developing. Donald Trump says he's got to have Greenland. it's got to be about Russia, China, protecting of the Western Hemisphere, right? I mean, what is the obsession and why is it so important that the United States controls Greenland?
Well, if we don't have Greenland, right, how can we truly cover the North Atlantic? That's like a corridor, right, to us, right?
Right.
And we could be strangled by activity in the North Atlantic. So we have to have that. We have to have that. It'd be nice if you could trust. If Greenland had all the gadgets and everything else to do it with, that'd be great, right? They have some gadgets, not all of them, but most importantly is this. This is one of the things. Now, I didn't read this anywhere, right? I'm assuming this. I'm going to make that point. I'm assuming this.
Okay.
President Trump has one gripe above all gripes. When he's trying to do something that's good for the world and good for the nation, he is often stopped by bureaucracy, right? So he didn't want that in the way. So what he wants to do is consolidate certain channels that if anything critical is needed, he will not have anybody who can stall it, because he's ran into people who purposely stall things that hurt good people.
Right.
Now that's a part people don't know about, right? And believe it or not, you see him act differently in front of his family, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's who he is.
That's who he really
is. People should have learned that when he was in the White House with Mondami, he said something, and people should have paid attention. They were talking about all the insults, right? All the insults that Trump gave to Mondami. They said, well, do you think he's this now? He said, well, that was a campaign. That's what happens in a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So he believes in debate, right? But for that purpose. In other words, he compartmentalizes his tactics. So if he's doing the politics thing, he'll do the politics thing,
right.
He'll comply with that, whatever that section is, to win whatever he has to win. But he always returns back to that family person, right? That's what a lot of people don't see. That's what confuses a lot of people. They'll see a portion of Trump. Even I did. I saw a portion of him. I didn't see the whole thing, and I didn't like the guy because of what I saw.
Yeah.
I said, well, you look at this guy. No.
Right.
But after a time, I didn't let anybody else interpret him for me. And after seeing some things, eyes on, I just changed everything. I said, okay, wait a minute, this is a little bit different. So he's acting a part in front of people when it comes to debates and things like that. Because unless he's angry, right? The only way he can, when he has those angry insults, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to finish Iran, because they tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And that regime is still trying to do things. But that was him. So a lot of people don't see that part of it.
Yeah,
right?
in other words, he plays the role that he has to play for every situation.
There you go.
He puts on his game face just like anybody would go out into a sporting event or whatever it is that you're doing. And then once that's over, okay, the real Donald Trump, who's really a pretty likable guy. Most people say that to actually spend time with him personally, say he's actually a very likable,
because he's
funny guy.
He's different. He's very different from what people think. Also, because I know they're powerful figures in the establishment. They do not like him.
No.
Right? They have always said he's not one of us. I heard that myself, and that did it for me. I said, okay, anybody who's not one of them is a friend.
Is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not one of them is a friend of mine.
Because people don't know. Passball people don't know how. There's a cruelty.
Yeah.
They can watch the worst movie they've ever watched. They have not seen cruelty. They have not seen it. I think half the people would be in shock to see the cruelty involved in these levels. By the way, though, that's having said all that, security is a big deal for the USA and Greenland. And so Greenland is a strategic area that we have to be able to personally cover. We cannot put certain surveillance devices, so to speak, in Greenland. Under Greenland's authority, we can't do that. We have to have complete, objectable authority over what we place there, so that we can't force
It'll
security.
happen.
The world right now is positioning, right? We have to get these defense corridors up as soon as possible. I mean, like right now, because what I said last week, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Let's talk. Let's go back to this earthquake because it is interesting. It's 6.0 right there in the Cascadia subduction zone, right where the seamount axle volcano. It's a under ocean volcano that it had been raising so unbelievably. Mike, are you concerned this thing will blow? And if it does, could it do some serious damage to the northwest corner of the United States?
Well, ironically, I'm not worried about the damage it can do directly.
Okay,
right?
That's good. That
doesn't worry me. What worries me is the instabilities it can cause further south, right?
Okay.
That worries me.
Okay.
That worries me.
You mean like California and further?
Yes. Anything near that subduction zone.
Okay.
Is not good. That's not good, right? Because California's fault lines are always moving. They don't need a catalyst. If they get a catalyst or something that makes it move, more aggressively, that shaking is going to last for a long time, for quite some time. Can you imagine having an earthquake that lasts 14 minutes?
That's insane. No.
Well,
no.
Yeah, it's got a lot of back pressure, has a lot of room to move. And, they continue to do scans of those fault lines. And it's only a thick layer of rock, almost like a lip that has slowed its movement just a little bit. If anything breaks that lip, it's going to really move. So it has a lot of back pressure built up onto it, right? It's almost like a soda can lid. If you were to take a soda can lid and pop it open, but you had a finger in the way, it's not going to open all the way, right? And you keep pulling it and your finger is still in the way, it's still not going to move because your other finger's holding the cap down. But if you all of a sudden move your other finger out of the way, that top's going to fly up to your ceiling, all right? And then everything comes down. Well, in that case, you have a lip of rock. And if anything disturbs that rock, it's going to lose its integrity. It will start to fracture. And then we're going to have a lot of movement of the ground just come up out of nowhere.
Now, BP Earthwatch just in the chat room just said that one buoy is moving. He's watching the buoys. That means, I don't know if that means we got a tsunami issue or not, but, something to watch, I suppose. So you're saying the pressure from that, it's down the line. It's huge. In other words, it's not just right there. It's not centrally located. The effect of this thing. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah. It'll be like a domino effect, right? You have that one place, pressure's relieved in Northern California, near Oregon, right? But then further down south, all that land is going to shift. And when it shifts, you're going to have the ground is going to separate from that lip, allowing all that pressure release.
San Francisco, is that a concern in this thing?
Yes. Oh, yes. Because you're looking at far down south. And by the way, if that happens, the Coast Guard, there's no way the Coast Guard's plate is going to stay where it is. There's just no way.
Because
if that cap is gone, well, then goodbye, everything else.
So the cap is the seamount axle. Is that? I mean, the axle seamount. That's
axial seamount.
Yeah, that's the cap.
That goes past ball. You're losing stability in the Pacific. If that goes, the fault lines are already backed up. They should have gone a long time ago. It's too much pressure underneath there. The magma is flowing like never before. They keep taking aerial pictures of a lit up seafloor at different times of the year, right? That's magma right underneath the ice, right? The infrared is showing this pretty good.
Wow.
They have blotted out most of the features. Some of the features that people used to track, they cannot find them on Google Earth anymore. They have blurred all those things out. Nobody's allowed to see those anymore. because of the deformation that's taking place.
You're saying
And
they're
so
hiding it? They're hiding the Google Earth
Of course they
infrared
are.
because that would create panic? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, it would. Because, well, people would jump the gun. Here's the bad part. It's a double-edged sword, really.
Okay.
If they saw it, right, then, they may say, hey, this is imminent, and may make a big deal of it, but it may be another year before something happens, right? But then again, it could be, a couple days, but nobody knows. And so to avoid all of that, they blur it out. So nobody can get that, attribute that to them. They're not going to spread that all over the internet because it's blurred out.
They would would they rather they're not say anything and let it happen?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, because it may be premature. And that's the bad part about geology is you can see something that could be imminent, but it may be another 10 years before anything happens, right?
That's so true.
The other part of that is it could be immediate. So, but because they don't know, they don't want to panic people prematurely. That could prematurely destroy things, right? California is going to have a big enough scare this year anyway. They don't need any additional
What do you
scares.
mean they're going to have a big enough scare this year?
The smells. There will be a gas release. They will start to smell the gas, and this is part of the process. Of,
methane? Is it methane?
What's going to change everything?
Methane or no?
They already smell methane. They should in certain places, but they're going to have worse gases that start to come up, right? And people will it'll stink. People will smell it. Animals will, no doubt, start to vacate that area. Different things like that will begin to happen.
Is this one of the
we have massive internal changes in the Earth, Fastball, and everything else is taking attention away from geology, but geology is really going to bite us this year.
So California, and so in your opinion, we're going to smell some stuff. We're going to be getting some gas releases in California, quite significant. Yeah. Is it dangerous? What's going to happen here?
Well, yeah, if you're right there at it, yeah, sure it will. Sure it will be. But it's going to cause a scare more than anything, right? Just a scare, but the real event will be coming. It's inevitable.
Yeah,
it's inevitable.
Yeah. Well,
nobody knows if it's going to happen this year. I know they're going to have a scare. Now, could that be followed by a major event? Sure, it could. Yeah, I'm not in control of that.
Right,
but,
right.
I do know that based on the structure of the Pacific right now, it will begin to release gases.
Okay, as these things are developing, Mike, on the Earth, and you talk about fire and water, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do you see fire, and is it going to be in the same area, fire and water, or just globally there's going to be some fire and water?
It'll be same area. The weather itself is going to take, it's going to increase as far as its ability to dump moisture, right? Think about it. Think about stalled storms. A storm that just simply is stalled.
That's how you get a rain bomb.
We're going to see a lot of that. So Texas also prepare for that big time. All those coastal, states, they need to prepare for that.
Texas, I'm writing it down.
California should prepare for that. The East Coast, they need to prepare for that. There's going to be the jet stream is going to do something quite wicked. The instability in the jet stream, as far as the deviation from where it used to be, is it's incredible. Because normally it has more stability than what it does now. It is shifting too much. The axis of the Earth, this year they believe, not me, they believe, that the Earth is rotating like a spinning top, right? Mm-hmm. When a spinning top begins to slow down, it wobbles, right? Mm-hmm. Now they think that wobble, we could hit a few significant wobbles this year. Significant wobbles. If that happens, it'll offset everything, right? It'll offset everything. And when that takes place, our weather patterns are going to change drastically. I mean, drastically. So forget about, the 4 seasons. We're going to see some drastic changes. Wind speeds are building up. They're going to continue to build up, right? And build up and build up and build up. Because our upper atmosphere has notable higher densities than ever before. That means extra heat up way up there. It also means moisture potential is going to be held, dropped all over the place. It'll be like a atmospheric river across the entire USA. Think of that.
That would be a massive monster storm.
Just think of that. Now, we already had, here's something funny. About 6 times we've had a storm that covered the entirety of the USA. Yesterday, we had a high pressure system that covered the entirety of the USA. We also had a low pressure system that covered the entirety of the USA, right? So we had a high on the west coast. We had a low on the east coast, you could say. Yeah. Covering the entire USA. Now, I've not seen that before.
I've never even heard of that. I've never even heard of that before.
It has smashed in between that high and low isobars form, right between the high and low, which diverts a jet stream way down south. That's what happened. That's why we're having this cold influx.
Is that why it's going to snow in Florida? It's going to snow in Florida tomorrow.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's why.
What?
And so they're trying their best. They are trying their best to say, no, that can't happen. In fact, it's almost like they're going to start a campaign to tell everybody that can't happen. We can't have a storm that covers the USA, but their own Doppler is going to betray them. Right? So people just keep watching. You'll see it yourself.
Yeah, it's going to snow. It's supposed to snow tomorrow in Jacksonville, Florida. And not far. Look, it's cold here in the Villages, which is crazy. I know, don't get mad at me. I know it's 46 degrees or whatever right now, which is cold in Florida. But it's kind of crazy because in New York, it was a high of 45. I mean, so that's what you're saying. High pressure in the west, low pressure in the east, and then it is doing some kind of a combination.
Yeah, it's altered the jet stream.
Yeah, it's changed.
It brings that jet stream all the way down to Florida, which means it'll bring Arctic temperatures down from Canada, right through the USA to Florida, and back up again.
Yeah.
But that's a very extreme dip. It's a very extreme dip.
It is extreme.
And so this summer, we're going to see those extremes. Now, just imagine in the middle of summer, if we get a cold front that drops from Canada, right? Number one, it's going to dry out Canada. Fires are going to be uncontrollable. That's number one. Number two, it's going to cause an atmospheric river to form in the Gulf states, right? And the East Coast is going to get very soggy. People should get ready because with a lot of moisture and humidity, or a lot of storms, forget about humidity, that will eventually cause mildew. And black mold is going to have the highest potential to spread this year than at any other time.
That's bad.
Okay? So, because last year, it was already on trees. Hear me on this. Out in the middle of the woods, black mold was covering trees. That's really bad. And humidity was not high. So think about that.
How did it happen? I mean, how do you get mold?
Conditions. We have a change in atmospheric conditions, and it's a more viable conditions for mold to grow, right?
Okay.
But black mold, it spread. It was covering trees. I've never seen that before. Not black mold.
Well, especially if you have low humidity. I mean, if
That's
you
right.
have high humidity,
That's right.
yeah, but okay.
Because these were hot temperatures, right? So we have these natural things that are happening.
How are the animals going to react to this? I mean, are they going to migrate?
Are you kidding? I tell you what, I give a caution to everybody right now. Let me fill everybody in on what's been happening. People there's some national alerts that went out, some cautions, okay, some recommendations because of bear attacks. Bear attacks are increasing exponentially.
Oh, no, wait a minute. What is? Sorry.
Bear attacks.
What is that? Their attack?
Bear.
Oh, bears. Bears.
Yeah, bears are attacking human beings.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Attacking them. Everybody should be well versed in that. So look that up when you get a chance. It's becoming a real problem. People are dying by bears. The bear attacks are increasing. But that's not all. You have coyote attacks that are increasing. Bird attacks are increasing, right? And
Mountain
Pastor,
lions.
I could tell you an unbelievable story.
Tell me.
But my goodness.
Tell me.
All right, I mean, real briefly.
Okay.
Because of AI is very good at capturing patterns, right? They found something with animals. Animals are not just making noise. Okay, but let me give you the gist of this. So they capture the patterns on animal communications. And for example, with a specific person, animals make a specific noise. Now they thought that was just identifying as, maybe a human being, right? But they found that when a different person came by, it was a different noise. Then they found out something else.
What?
They took some animals, found some people, they had them around people, and the animals made a specific noise for each person, right? They took those same animals, sent them all the way across the USA, and they had children. The animals had little babies.
Okay.
I think was it 9 months later, they took those babies back to the East Coast, put them around these same people, and those little babies made the same noises. That can only happen if the parents described the people to them.
Whoa. Wait a minute. This is getting deep. Wait. You're saying that so the big animals heard the people, saw the people, made certain kind of noise because there were certain kind of people. And then the babies, then when they got near the people, they could make the same noise.
But the babies were born on the opposite side of the USA, away from the people. So they didn't know anything about it.
So it had to be a communication between.
That's right. The parents had to describe the people to the children, is my point. The parent animals had to describe. Now, they found this to be true with crows, especially. There's been a lot of studies with crows. Crows know exactly who you are, who your wife is, your children are, and they know what types of people you are.
I always dealt with these crows in Indiana. Let me just say, and me and Heidi would talk about that. Say that sometimes these crows would be mean. Okay, it's like whoa, and then they come back, and I wondered sometimes
because they describe. If you're mean to a crow,
I'm not being
right?
mean. I'm not being. I mean, being mean to me.
But I'm just saying,
yeah, okay.
If anybody is mean to a crow,
okay,
right? A crow. First of all, a crow knows your posture and what it means. If you carry a broomstick to sweep something, they know if you're going to sweep. If you carry it in your posture a specific way and you're going to hit something, they already know you as a bad human, right? Now they're going to go out and teach all the crows you're a bad human, just you, right? They already got everybody else pegged. They likely know the entire population. As it turns out, the bird brain, right? In the bird brain are tightly packed neurons like nobody has ever seen before, which makes them on the order smarter than your dogs and your cats and any other pet you would have in the home. So it put them very close to a dolphin. How about that?
Well, they know garbage. Somebody just made a comment, and this is true. Someone made a comment in the chat room that the crows know garbage day. That I can promise you is the truth. And crows in the cornfields, when I, of course, in the cornfields of Indiana, they seem to know, like, when there was going to be the harvest, okay? It's like they knew.
Yeah, they do know.
They're very intelligent.
They do know, and they teach their children very, very intimate descriptions. If you went out and got one contact lens, right? Just one, a different color, and one of the crows saw your eyes, they would describe that, right? You come around 2 days later without the contact lens, they would look at you and say, well, you didn't have the contact in. You come back with that contact lens in, they're going to start tweaking the same pattern. There he is. They're going to identify you. Crows mourn for their dead. They will gather around a dead crow and stand in silence. And look at the crow, right? They mourn the dead. They have a specific pattern of sounds for mourning, right? They also educate each other. They know how that crow died. They will investigate. They found that to be true too.
Wow.
Because they set out a crow that was actually killed by a weapon. And they have a specific sound for a gun. And well, they have quite a few because it's different guns. They identified that. This goes on and on and on and on. So their society is, you could say, is almost as complex as ours. the problem is we never knew that they were communicating this way.
No,
And
we
here's
didn't
the
have a
other
clue.
problem. Here's the other problem, right? All the other animals are communicating just like the crows. They know exactly what we do every single day, especially squirrels, right? Squirrels know us more intimately than a crow ever could.
That's why that's why these squirrels that play out in the yard here and outside my window here, they know when I'm coming to work. Matter of fact, we know a dog watches everything we do. I mean, they know they know us. Like, are you serious? I mean, Bobo, my dog, she knows exactly what I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, she'll go to my desk before I can get there. She'll be sitting there waiting. Like, hey, it's time for you to be at the desk. Get your coffee. Go ahead.
Yep.
I'm waiting. It's crazy.
The last thing I was going to say is this, Basketball.
Yeah.
Somehow the animals know every disaster before it ever takes place. And they try to warn us, but we don't listen.
They do. They know storms are coming and we don't know. Yeah,
they know
you're right.
earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, storms. They know when wars are starting to form. They know they know things, right? So eyeballs have been watching us this entire time.
We've been under surveillance. So are you trying to say we've already been under a surveillance society?
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
All right. I can't argue this. I can't. I know it's true. I mean, you see it. You know, it's amazing. It's God's creatures are incredible. I mean, aren't they?
Right. Now you have these attacks of bears and some other animals.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I know that these animals do not randomly attack just anybody.
No.
They are attacking. The attacks are on the rise.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they're picking and choosing who they attack. Now they're not going to acknowledge that, right? That's something a person can acknowledge or not.
Right.
But I've never heard of a real Christ believing individial
being attacked.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you're right.
I comb statistics,
yeah.
And there are some things, a person who really believes in Christ, really believes, I've never seen them undergo certain things ever in the world, right? From car accidents to all sorts of things. When they do undergo something, it ends up saving somebody else's life in their lifetime. In other words, if a Christian goes through something, it impacts other people greatly. Greatly to the point where they give their lives to Christ. So something different is happening to believers versus non-believers. But these animal attacks, they're not happening to believers.
Wow.
Not real believers.
So, it's really neat because Bobo loves everybody. She loves everybody but one UPS driver. I don't know what's wrong with that dude, but maybe you better look into that, okay? I might need to look into that. And if you're out there watching right now and you're a UPS driver, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying one UPS driver.
Might want to make some changes.
Mike, thank you so much for tonight. It's been a very fascinating show. It's been a very educational show, very, very spiritually enlightening and uplifting. But discernment is important, and I think we need to stay aware of what's going on around us. We could learn a lot from the animals, couldn't we?
That's right. Yeah, we absolutely could. And prophecy is not going to fail.
No, it won't. You could count on prophecy. You can't stop prophecy. It's coming to pass. So,
Amen.
Mike, thank you again. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show, but not only tonight's show, but all the time you come. And of course, I got to interview you for the webinar. I hope Monday's a good day for you. I don't know. Should I have Heidi contact you?
Let's see. Monday, what day is Monday? Let me see. Yeah, have Heidi contact me.
Okay. We'll
have
set
Heidi
that
contact me.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Mike.
And oh, by the way, I did hear the tail end of Agent X. I'm going to take a guess, so he can tell you. But it sounds like he's well versed in irregular warfare curriculum. Now, it's just a guess.
I think your guess is pretty good. Okay, I think it's pretty good. All right. I'll see you, Mike. God bless you.
All right, baseball. God bless you.